Hey guys, Ernie Neal with DogFace Knives and the Survivalist Mindset channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit about waste not, want not. Sometimes I understand that there's not a lot of money to go around and you have to do your preps and get your gear together on a budget. I completely understand. Been there, done that, still am doing that. Anyhow, today what we're going to talk about is turning something that's kind of a piece of junk into something that might be useful for your kit. I came across, while I was redoing the other side of the shop, I'm expanding the DogFace knife shop here to incorporate the other half of my garage, and I came across this piece of crap, Chinese machete, had a cruddy sheath, had a plastic handle, and the reason I think I only used this once or twice is the handle, because it's a two-piece plastic deal, and your skin would get caught inside and it would pinch you. So it wound up in the garage in the bin there of stuff that I didn't want to get rid of, but I didn't want to use either. I came across this and I thought it might be a good idea to take a set of micarta scales and try and redo this up a little bit and make a different sheath for it. I think I maybe have $2 or $3, $4 in this thing from some sort of a bargain store here near where I live. So I don't have a whole lot of money in it. I'm going to have a few bucks in the micarta scales. I think we'll also take some scrap kydex and put a sheath together for this knife. Something I can build a kit on to. Something I'll probably end up giving this to my kid, but there's no sense in wasting it. And you know, a lot of what we wind up doing is repurposing and recycling things, whether it be from thrift stores, Goodwills, garage sales, what have you, and finding value in that stuff where we don't have to expend a lot of money to get that value. And a lot of folks who are setting themselves up to, preparing for unforeseen events, that's a good way to go about getting stuff stored up. There's no sense in running out to the store and spending every dime you have on name brand, brand new, expensive stuff for your preps when you can utilize garage sales and thrift stores and make that dollar go a lot further. Anyhow, I'll let you kind of see as I go along with this. I may not get it done tonight. It's getting about 8:30. I'm going to start on it. This may end up running into tomorrow, in which case, no problem. I'll turn the camera back on and let you see it the rest of the way through. But just give you kind of an idea of something you could do for yourself. Maybe help you to see value in something that maybe you otherwise wouldn't see value in, and just talk a little bit about repurposing things. Stick with me. See how this turns out. First things first, God gave each of us two eyes. I don't know about you, but I did not get a receipt for mine, so I can't return them if I were to mess them up. So always go with safety glasses if you're going to be grinding on metal or anything like that, really. And whenever you go to grind on your micarta, also wear a respirator. We'll get into that. This stuff is nasty and it'll mess you up real bad. Anyhow, we're going to take the handle of this machete, made in China. That's real neat. And we're going to cut this out to fit my hand just a little bit better. And then once we get to that point, we'll have a basis to draw out our profile, if you will, on the micarta and kind of rough cut it before we go any further. Stick with me. I'm going to go over here to the grinder and get this cut up. Okay guys, now that we got this cut up, I'm going to go ahead and lay out the micarta and get a rough idea of where I want to cut it out from, and we'll go from there. Stick with me. Okay everybody, you got to bear with my funny camera angle. I kind of lost my tripod for my camcorder. That's all right, I'll get another one or I'll find something. Anyway, hopefully this angle works for you so you can kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. We're going to take our machete handle, lay it on one of the pieces of my micarta, and we're going to kind of get an idea of where we want this thing to line up at. I'll remove the excess and then I'll wind up attaching the knife. I'm sorry, I'm in DogFace knife mode. I'll wind up attaching the machete to the handle, and then I'll do a final grind to make everything match up. But right now the object of the game is to remove big chunks of excess so I'm not making a crazy amount of dust and killing myself any further. So we're just going to kind of line this up where we think we want it, trace around the Sharpie. You wind up with something like this. Gives you an idea of where you want to cut this thing out just to get the bulk off. Again, this is for no other reason than just to get a bunch of this bulk off so you're not making a crazy amount of dust. Then what we're going to do is I'll go over to the drill press. I'll kind of line this up and I'll make my holes with my drill. Same thing on the top so that everybody lines up, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, what you'll want to wind up with is a piece of micarta, something like this. It'll have your holes drilled. All of them should line up with the holes in your tang, like so. And we'll go ahead and do the exact same procedure on the other slab of micarta and put them both together, test fit everything, make sure it lines up nice. Okay everybody, we have our holes drilled in our pieces of micarta. Everybody lines up good. Go ahead and poke your pins into the holes on one slab like this. Place your knife tang, or your, in this case, machete tang, through the holes. Make sure they line up. And take the top piece and make sure it lines up. You want your holes to be snug. You don't want the pins falling completely through. They need to be snug so that way when you epoxy this up, they make a nice bite and they really give it something to bite into. But you don't want them so hard that you have to pound the crap out of them to get them in and out. Just, if you can push, I mean, take a little bit of effort, but if you can still push them through, that's usually pretty okay. Just like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like we talked in the beginning, cut off all my excess, get a really rough handle shape done, and then we'll go from there. Hey guys, starting to get a little bit late now. It's a little after 9. It's time for me to clean up the DogFace shop and get it ready for another day tomorrow. Tomorrow when I come back out, I'll bring the camcorder with me and we will finish up this micarta handles on this machete so you can all take a look at it. It's not going to be anything spectacular, and it's by no means a big, expensive, intricate piece. It's just a way to utilize something and find value in something that had otherwise been cast off. And I think that's the entire message of this video. Whether it's a machete or whether it's a backpack or whatever the case may be, if you can find things secondhand, find things that someone else doesn't want, that would work for you, that would allow you to save your resources, your financial resources, and use those in other ways. I'm not saying don't go out and get good quality gear. That's important. What I'm saying is be picky and choosy. If you can stock up, if you can prep up, if you can find something secondhand that will work for you and serve a purpose, by all means, don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to have to doctor something up a little bit. You know, this is a lesson for me as much as it is for you. I had taken this thing and basically written it off as junk. Then the thought struck me, hey, maybe it isn't exactly what I want, and maybe it has its flaws, but is there something I can do to make it better? Is there something I can do to make it useful? And will that usefulness be worth the work that I put into it? And I think in this case, yes, it will be. Anyhow, stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll just go ahead and cut this video off, pick it back up again tomorrow, and we'll finish up this Machete, the handles anyway. Alright guys, we kind of skipped ahead there. I apologize, I got really busy the next morning after I made the first half of this video, and I got wrapped up in doing a bunch of knives for folks, but I did find time to go ahead and epoxy the handles onto the Machete like we talked about. I had some epoxy left over, and rather than letting it go to waste, I used it. And that's part of conserving your resources. Don't let stuff go to waste. I know it's just something as simple as some leftover epoxy, but in this case it didn't cost me anything because I already had it made up, and there was enough left over to go ahead and do these handles. Anyhow, the point of this video, guys, is you can take things that maybe don't cost you a lot of money or that you can find secondhand, and you can rework them into something that could be useful for you without spending a whole lot of money. Sure, I'd like all of you to come over to my shop there on Etsy and buy my DogFace knives from me. That would be fantastic. However, I understand that everybody does not have a lot of money, but we're all in the same boat together. You know, we have to get our stuff prepared, and whether you want an axe, whether you want a machete, whether you want whatever you're looking for, cut corners where you can and still have something good quality. In this case, we took the machete, and here's a look at the handles. Went ahead and put just micarta handles on, and it made it a lot better than that plastic that was with it. I took the sheath, I didn't have enough big scraps of Kydex to make a full sheath. So I took some Kydex there and I lined it inside, and I found a piece of leftover nylon webbing, and I just made the sheath actually work. Before it was just this little sewn on piece and it really didn't do anything. The sheath is still junk, it's still cheap, but it serves a purpose now. It's not going to fall off my belt. I can carry this thing around. As a matter of fact, now that I got these handles on here, I really dig the way it feels in my hand. I might actually use this, and it might not be going to my kid. Again, this is just a Chinese machete, but you know, the handles make all the difference, and really, what do you want a machete for? Just to hack away at stuff, right? So there you have it. Anyhow, see what you can come up with. Take a look around your house, take a look around the garage sales in your neighborhood, and just keep an open mind. If you can see something that there might be some value in, why not take a risk? It isn't really much of a risk. You know, why not just roll the dice and see what you can come up with to make your preps just a little bit better. Anyhow, guys, I appreciate all of your subscriptions and your views and your comments. If any of you are interested in looking at the DogFace knife stuff, I will put a link down below. Actually, not a link, but you'll be able to highlight and copy and paste it up into your browser bar over to my shop. Otherwise, guys, just keep in mind, the only certainty in life is change. God bless you all.